Hi, I'm Dr. Yo, and you're watching CPE in 3, our new weekly video series where I get 3 minutes to try to tell you something useful in the college admissions game. So this week, I want to talk to you about the new SAT versus the new ACT. You might be thinking, wait a minute, new ACT? I didn't hear anything about that. All I'm hearing about is the new SAT. Well, the ACT rolled out a slightly revised, hence new, version this fall, the fall of 2015, in which they made some minor changes, but a significant change to the writing test. The writing test used to be 30 minutes, now it's 40 minutes, and the assignment is significantly more sophisticated. They also have made some slight changes to the math where they're focusing more on real-world data-based math questions. And they made one minor change to the reading section, where now one of the 4 reading passages actually has 2 back-to-back passages where they can ask some compare and contrast questions. The SAT, on the other hand, is significantly redesigned. You've been hearing a lot about it. A lot of people want to know, is it easier, is it harder? Frankly, I don't think that's such an important question, because if it's harder for you or easier for you, it's harder or easier for the rest of the country, right? What I think is a more useful question to ask is, how do the changes in the SAT and ACT impact my decision on whether I'm an ACT kid or an SAT kid? Which one am I more likely to do well on, and which one should I send to college? So that, of course, varies from student to student, but I'll try in the remaining time to outline some of the key factors to consider. In math, the key new factor to consider is that there's a 25-minute section out of 80 minutes altogether that doesn't allow you to use a calculator on the redesigned SAT. That, to some students, is a deal breaker right there. What? I can't use my calculator? I'm out. Okay, you might want to be an ACT kid. So there's a 55-minute multiple choice section with calculator, 25 minutes without. On the ACT, it's still the same old 60 minutes, 60 questions. The math, I like to say, in the ACT is both easier and harder, and that's not a double-speak Orwellian voodoo talk. It's actually a paradox that can be resolved. The ACT is easier in the sense that the questions typically are more straightforward. They are not trying to trick you. They're just trying to probe and assess what math you know or do not know. It's harder in the sense that it does go a little deeper into the curriculum. You still are not going to see basic trig or I or logs on the redesigned SAT, but you see those questions on the ACT. As far as the reading is concerned, the reading on the new SAT, they're talking about historical documents and evidence-based reading. So what that means, really, when you boil it down, is you're going to have to focus more on your concentration. I wrote a blog, you can find it on this website and using the search on the blog page, about how I really feel like reading comprehension is a bit of a misnomer. It really should be called reading concentration. You're going to need to find some strategies that help you stay focused on what you're reading as you're reading it. So, for example, you don't want to be one of those kids who gets 2/3 of the way down a passage, read every word, but really has no idea what you just read. If you're a history buff, you may like the new reading on the SAT more than the old. Last thing I'll talk about, because I'm already right on the time, is grammar, and that the grammar on the ACT is the same. It's basically 10 essential grammar rules you have to know. SAT, it's the same material, but it looks and smells more like the ACT. By the way, this is the new book that you'll all be studying out of. What do I mean by that? I mean that instead of having standalone sentences, they now, like the ACT have been doing for years, are going to give you your grammar and writing questions in the form of, or from passages, and then parts of it are underlined and questions come from that. And that's all we have time for. So, sorry I went a little bit over, but I'm Dr. Yo. You've been watching CPE in 3. I hope that helps. If you have questions, feel free to email me or call. You can email dryo@collegeprepexpress.com or call 860-519-1000. I love talking about this stuff. I'd be happy to talk to you. Have a great week.